You want? I want plot armor. I'll show you. You think that's plot armor? I'll show you what plot armor is. Hey guys, Shane King. Today I'll show you a Rezael deck profile courtesy of my friend Dan. I managed to borrow his deck. Just a note, this is JP banless, so no dog here. So anyway, we'll just start with our starter. Honestly, any starter will do. It doesn't freaking matter. Rezael never uses any grade 1 starter that cares, so we'll use that. It's a frame rare. Anyway, next we'll use Tranquilla. We still use Tranquilla, yes. Because at the end of the day, you want to filter more anyway, so, and with the amount of grade 1s we run, we should be able to do that. Basically, the skill is when it's roll upon, reveal 3 different grades from your hand, and then you search the top 5 for grade 1, and then you call it a rear guard. Simple as that. Next, we run, what's his name? Frick, I can't remember. Ascensior skill. When it's rolled upon by Rezael, basically, it search for. Not search. You just call a card from your drop that is grade 2 or below. Yeah, it says here grade 2 and below. Anyway, and then up to our sub-star of the show, Rezael. I call it Rezael, but then the EN dub calls it Rezael, which is so weird. Someone tell me which one is the correct pronunciation for the English side, but whatever. Anyway, basically the first skill is when this unit attacks, you count +1, and then you call 2 cards equal to the grades equal to or below your damage. So if you hit 5, you can call 3 and 2. But then, honestly, you'll never see this. You only see like 2 damage, so you call a 2 and a 0 or 2 and a 1. Which honestly is all you need anyway, because you want to farm for turn 4. The divine skill is Soul Blast 1, and then return all critical triggers back to your deck, and then you gain this, and then you gain +1 drive, and then until the end of the fight, you get the ability of if your 6 damage trigger is anything by heal, you heal it, and then you lose this effect. Note that includes OT, so even if your 6 damage heal is an over trigger, you do end up going to 4 and not staying at 5, so that's fun. Yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, that's the right line. First off, we'll start with Gabuelas. We only run 1 Gabuelas, and honestly, you only need 1, because you don't live and die by not seeing this, and from my experience, I think it's fine. And plus, it's kind of like the anime when he runs 1 Gabuelas. It's kind of cool actually. I mean, Rezael can get away with it because he can actually toolbox quite a bit. Anyway, the first effect is on place from anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Soul Blast 1 on the top card. If you put it at bottom, it gains 5,000 power. Simple enough. If not, just leave it on top. Then the second effect is when this unit attacks, it gains when it's placed by Rezael ability. When this unit, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards until the end of the turn, this unit gets +5. Okay, so limit break 4. It gains 5,000 power, and if it was placed by Rezael's ability this turn, you counter blast 1, and then it gains an additional 10,000 power, -1 drive, or 5,000. Still 5,000. So okay, so basically, when this unit, when it attacks, if your limit break 4 +5,000 power, but if placed by Rezael's effect, you counter blast 1, you change that 5,000 into 10,000. and then it gains drive check, and then you set it, and then you -1 drive. Yeah, the effect is really weird, but hey, you get a +1, so what the heck? It's a limit break 4 abilities, so I don't see it often because I stick to 3. So you need it 1 also because when we use Fated King, you can reuse this. It's been shown in the anime as well that you can. So you use the first effect. So I'll show you later. Next, we run 3 extra copies because you want persona targets, and also it increases your Fated King. So I don't need to explain that much yet. We'll get to the main show of the road. Fated King, Rezael vita. Freaking every time I hear vita, I think of JoJo's. Anyway, the first effect basically says for each original name Fated 1 Rezael in your soul, it gains 5,000 power, and then it gains all their divine skill, which is really funny because it suggests that it has if someone released another base Rezael, this Rezael can have access to that. So if the divine skill is different, which is really funny. Anyway, when this unit attacks, counterblast 1, choose 2 cards with the same grade, basically the same effect, call them to rearguard circles. Then after that, you put the Fated 1 of Rezael into the soul, and then you call a card grade 3 or below, and then all the units called by the effect gains an additional 5,000 power. So it's actually really funny because, like I said, if you have a Gabuelas here and you get called over first, then the Gabuelas will retire. Then when you put Rezael into the soul, you can call it out from that drop zone. So that's how that works. It's actually kind of nuts when you think about it. Like, so in total, we do end up running only 8 grade 3s, which is, you know, your grade ratios if you played before the right deck. We run 2 Restore. Honestly, I actually get it. It's because you don't really need to see this very often, so you're kind of balling with it. And plus, when you do see it, I mean, you toolbox so hard, you probably see it anyway. Basically, on place counterblast 1, look at top 7, choose a card with Rezael in its card name, and then you add it to your hand. If you did not, you can charge 1. Basically, it's a free look top 7. So actually pretty cool. So if you need to shuffle, you can use this shuffle basically. The second effect is when this unit attacks. Let me double check so I don't get this wrong. When this unit attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Rezael in its card name until this unit gets plus 5k power until the end of the battle. If it was placed by your Rezael ability, and it's the 4 or more attack, it gets 10,000 power instead, which is weird, but okay. And it gains an additional 10,000 power if it's the 5th or more battle, and then your opponent basically cannot call Sentinels from hand. So they cannot call PGs unless it's Leo, and it gains 10,000. It gains an additional 10,000 if it's the 5th or more. So it's on your normal Rezael turn. If you do see it for some reason, you attack that, and that, since that's the 4th attack or more, that gets, and so it becomes a 20,000 power attack. Next turn it becomes 25,000, 35,000 on the 5th attack on the next following turn. But then you also persona, and then the number stack, so it's pretty good. It's guard restrict. You put it over trigger on this, and you're kind of balling. Anyway, next we run 1 copy of the Ace unit, which is goated, by the way. Basically, it's on place. It gets an additional 5,000 powers, energy plus 3, top 7, call a card, and then choose either this or the other unit, and gets basically resist. You cannot retire or choose it. Pretty simple. And then when this, and then it says here, If you have 4 or more units and your opponent's grade 3 or greater, it gains an additional 10,000 power basically. Functionally though, let's see what, let me double check here. So basically, if your opponent is grade 3, it gains 5,000, and then if you have 4 or more rear guards, it gains an additional 5. It's a Tay-fault with sub-conditions instead. 2 of the Dual Nation, I have shown you this for the Sephira, yes. I've shown you this for during the Minerva decklet profile. Yeah, this card is a bit more goated. I kind of semi-regret selling my copy of this, but oh well. Basically, on plays, you look at the top card of your deck, leave it on top or throw it to the drop. Then you can counterblast 1 and then choose a... I mean, you don't run orders, so basically just choose a card, 1 grade 2 or above rear unit and call it to the rear guard circle. So you can choose top card with this, pretty good. There are times like if I see Rezael on the top card, I'll just leave it on top because you can't retrieve it anyway. Probably one of the reasons why you would run your Brain Gate, your Brain Gate Keeper Dual Nation instead, where you can just what deck Rezael, but up to you. I mean, this one is like you lose it, so GG. Anyway. Then we got our nice Nebiris. Nebiris' skill is on when it's placed by your grade 3 Rezael's, when it's placed by your grade 3 Vanguard's ability, I believe. Yeah. It gains 10,000 power. So this is technically a generic beat stick. So if you can somehow revive this from drop indefinitely, it gains that is a 20k beat stick. And then when this unit at the end of battle, this unit attack, if you're a grade 3 Rezael and it's card name, energy +3, put this to your soul, draw a card, look at the top card, and then you may put it at the top or bottom. Yeah, it's an EV3 draw. That's why it's here. It's literal value. It's very insane actually. So it's your draw engine because dog don't exist. For Cadwalla is very useful because it's, I mean, it used to combo with Salgang where you end up drawing 2. So basically, at the end of battle, this unit attack. If you have 4 more units this turn, at the end of battle, this unit attacks. So +1, retire itself, lower top 3, choose a grade 2 or greater normal unit, by the way, and then add it to your hand and then shuffle the deck. If you did not add it, you shuffle the deck and then you draw a card. Yeah, all I have to say is it's just a plus engine. The whole deck is basically just plus engine because of the divine skill where you can just put any trigger. We run 1 grade 1 Maple. Since you have like 4 copies of, you have 7 copies of Persona, you definitely Persona on turn 4 and onwards. You'll definitely keep Personaing. So this is like an infinite booster recursion. You need booster recursion because you have very good beat sticks already. That's all it does basically. When you Persona, this gets called from drop and it gains an additional 5,000 power. Simple enough. We run 2 of what's his face. Aerial Sage, your counter charger. It's a 13k booster, and when it boosts Rezael, you can discard a card and counter charge 1, and it gains an additional 2,000 power, jumping it to 15. Honestly, you're not discarding it unless you're not using the second effect unless you really need a counterblast. If not, it's just a 13k booster, which is actually really strong, so that's cool. Now for the other main grade 3s. This one, the EN players probably haven't had it, and then I'm just wondering when EN is gonna ban Dog 2, but then they're also running Buster format, so my condolences to you guys. This is Dissection Angel. It's a combination of 2 cards effect and itself flavor. If your opponent is grade 3, it gains 2,000 power, so it's a 10k booster. At the end of battle, this unit attacks, so +1. Retire this unit and then you draw a card. And then second effect is when a drive check during your turn, when your drive check reveals a trigger, you can Soul Blast 2, counter charge 1, and gains an additional 5,000 power. That's once per turn. This has helped me a bit when I needed countercharge. Note the soul can be either super tight or super there, so you need to balance your soul if you draw into a lot of cards that have Soul Blast. If not, you kind of just burn it away, it doesn't really matter. It depends. You really can, and don't worry about not having counterblast. If you on low damage and you're like on 1 or 2, it's fine, because keep in mind, Rezael can farm. So just farm. That's the general strategy. I'll make a video on a fight video soon, probably on this deck, and then I'll see how. Next we run this is the dog replacement that you guys have but you don't use because Selgown is still legal, so whatever. Severus. When this unit is placed by your Rezael card ability, you can Soul Blast 1, and then your front row gains an additional 5,000 power. Pretty cool. The second effect is at the end of battle, this unit attacks. If this was placed by your Grade 3 or greater Rezael Vanguard's ability, bind this card and then you draw a card. Yeah, it's not that good. But it's better than nothing, and Dissection Angel takes soul, so oh well. Instead of retiring itself, it'd be funny if it was just a dog replacement, but you can draw, but you have to call it by its effect, and you basically it's a hard one, but yeah, if it was just a draw, I think it would have done a bit better. I don't know. Butcher a nerf dog, oh well. We run one Elementary Sanctitude, actually my foil one from the premium deck. This is my personal one because I borrowed the deck, so I'm showing you slight tweaks that I prefer. Shadow Balance PGs, which he had, which I'm jealous because I'm missing one copy to complete my set. And your Elementary Sanctitude, triple drive because consistency. I chose Kato OT. Like, he had the purple OT, which grabs a card from the damage zone, but I went with the Keto one because I'm greedy and I want to have more drive checks and more draw. So, yeah. Next, we run our 3 front triggers. Affect fronts. Basically, if your opponent is grade 3 or greater, it gains an additional 5,000 power. So it's a 20k shield value on turn 3 onwards. And it's 15k otherwise. More shield, more good. 4 effect crits, which surprisingly helps out a lot because of the sometimes soul issue. On like early turns, you can use Rezael ability, call it, and then you can go to soul. And then basically you have soul for the next turn. And when you divine skill, you can just soul blast it out and then throw it back in the deck anyway. So you're kind of balling for that once per fight turn. We run more crits because, like I said, if you're gonna return crits, you might as well max out in the crits. So yeah, we run the max copy that we can in this format, which is 5, which is 8 actually. But in premium, you can go all the way up to 12, actually all 16 if you're really crazy. Heal triggers can be any vanilla heals. I don't really care because I think in general, like, vanilla heals are still better. That's the value there. So, on final thoughts for this deck. From my experience, this deck works until it doesn't. If you unlike Bav, where like if you don't really see all your pieces, you generally are fine. Like you just arm and you call 2 subpar units because you always draw into subpar units anyway. Rezael, if you don't see the correct number of certain units, you're kind of screwed. Like if you don't see Nibiris by turn 3, it kind of sucks because you can't get in your soul draw and your soul and draw basically, and you cannot burn the energy that you got. If you don't see Dissection Angel, you're kind of screwed. If you don't see Sapphire to fix it, or your Ace unit to fix your board, you're kind of screwed. You don't see Maple, you're kind of fine. Basically, that's all. This deck is basically it really relies more on seeing your pieces more than a lot of the decks I've tried. Not as bad as Maelstrom, mind you. I tried Maelstrom. Like, Maelstrom is consistent, trust me, but boy, this is much more of a iffy thing. Like, I mean, considering my luck is like of an enemy protagonist, I generally am fine. Like I can exploit this deck quite a bit more with my luck than a lot of other decks. But trust me, post Benless, your hand isn't as big anymore. You don't just hit 10 cards freely, and it's not that. But well, you can do quite a bit with this. So that's all I have to say. As always, like, subscribe, and then I'll see you next video. Take care.